What's up, Spartan fans and Spartan Nation? It is Jacob Katsuniki here, back for another episode of the Michigan State Spartans Insider Podcast. It is Monday, October 6th, and Michigan State now moving on to UCLA week. It's going to be an interesting one. Bruins just beat Penn State. Still 1-4, though, with some really bad losses in there, so it's tough to know what to make of that game, but we're going to still kind of keep talking about the Nebraska game here. Just because of just the nature of that game. It wasn't a game where Michigan State just kind of got thoroughly outplayed by an Ohio State and you just kind of tip your cap and move on. That's a game that Michigan State should have won, I think, if they played just a halfway clean game. And they didn't. It's a game, again, just a couple of preventable mistakes, and they would have maybe had a big road win, something that Jonathan Smith really, really needs. I think it's now six straight losses now on the road for Jonathan Smith after he won that first one at Maryland last season. So there's two main reasons why Michigan State lost this game. I thought the defense overall, given the circumstances, especially with multiple key players in that secondary out, I thought the defense was fine. Nakai Martinez, his status was a bit doubtful for that week. He was out and he's one of their starting safeties. And Ade Willie, he was out as well. That was a bit more of a surprise on that availability report for Michigan State on that one. But otherwise, seemed to do fine. There wasn't a ton of explosives in the passing game allowed from Michigan State's defense. You didn't see... Yeah, there was only 2 pass plays for Nebraska that were more than 15 yards, and it was those 2 really, really big ones. It was that big 3rd and 10 after Michigan State had taken the lead. Raiola maybe shouldn't have been in the game. I still need to try to go through the whole rule book and see if there's any, after his helmet came off on that previous play, he got hit and the helmet rolled off. He was still allowed to be in the game. I'm still pretty sure if your helmet comes off, you have to leave for one play. He came in, 45-yard completion, leads to a touchdown for Nebraska in a tie game later on. We'll talk about what happened after that in a little bit. And then the 59-yard screenplay for Isaiah Hunter. That wasn't a secondary issue. That was more just poor tackling and poor execution from the defense in general. There's nothing you can do coverage-wise for a screen. So, you didn't see a whole lot of explosives for Nebraska through the air. Only just that one play where they kind of went deep, and it wasn't really just like a over-the-top type of play. It was just a more long-developing play. Guy got open. It's going to happen once in a while, Still not great to allow that on a 3rd and 10, though. Pass rush was good. I believe it was 5 sacks, maybe 6. From those guys, they got credited with 5. All right, 5 sacks for 35 yards loss. Best game of the year for the pass rushing unit. They needed that. Smith kind of said, I think it was Smith who said, they felt challenged, and they accepted the challenge, and they were able to get to the quarterback a good bit. Got some good sacks. Jalen Thompson had one. Malik Spencer got one. Van Sumer got one. Santiago got one. And Darius Snow got one. So it was a kind of a by committee approach as well. There wasn't one guy who just entirely stood out. Thompson had a really good game. Had 2 tackles for loss. Jordan Hall had a really good interception. It's almost like the type of pick you see when you're playing Madden or College Football 26, where you have the middle linebacker just kind of dropping in coverage and reading the quarterback's eyes, and just stepped in front of a pass and got to it. First ever pick for Jordan Hall, who's been fantastic all season. But now for the more negative side of things, special teams. It's more of a, for me, it was just shocking, because the special teams have been great for Michigan State all season for the most part, maybe outside of a few plays, but it was just, it was nightmarish. There's really there's no other way to put it. You have a blocked punt return for a touchdown, which is one of those plays I think they said maybe during halftime. If you block a punt, you have a 70% chance of winning that game. Something like that. Maybe it's probably even more when you return it for a touchdown instantly like that. Your offense doesn't even have to do anything. So you can't have that. And then I don't know how much they keep stats of this, but if you on a non-onside kick, just a short pooch kick, You have two guys collide. Neither of them they didn't communicate enough clearly because they both collided with each other. Neither of them catch it because of that, and Nebraska falls on the free kick. So just two inexcusable mistakes to happen in week 6. Nebraska didn't do anything exotic with the rush. Guy just came through and it just kind of split the two blockers there. That was kind of that second level of the pass blocking, the punt blocking scheme. So that can't happen. And then obviously just turning the ball over in general on a kickoff. That's something that can't happen either. That's not something I'd imagine is going to happen again and again because wind was a factor in this game. I think Nebraska was kicking into the wind on that one, so that makes the trajectory of the ball really, really hard to judge at times. It's kind of like when you're trying to catch a frisbee and it goes over your head. Sometimes it just hovers over and then it goes back another way, but not quite to that level. But still, it just can't happen. Offensively, there was no rhythm. They put up 27. But it didn't feel like they put up 27. Nebraska's defense was all over the place for Michigan State. Aiden Childs, lowest passing output as a Michigan State Spartan, 85 on the day for him. It was the first time I think he failed to reach 100 yards in a start since he came to East Lansing. So he's not a good game. Like, he didn't play great. I'm not going to sit here and be like Aiden Childs for Heisman. But I still think he played better than what the stats show. It was still a below average game for him as a whole, but it was like to some level, I don't know what he was supposed to do. There wasn't a whole lot of stuff. There wasn't a whole lot of easy completions that were schemed up for him. And when they tried to take shots downfield, there was nothing. Like, guys, I don't know if guys were getting you can't even know if guys were getting open if Nick Marsh or Amari Kelly were getting open because his offensive line didn't give him time to read stuff downfield. It was just really, really tough for him to do anything the entire game. Michigan State averaged 3.5 yards a play on this one, which scoring 27 points off of that's honestly impressive. Only 3.5. Per play, even if you're going for it every time, getting 3.5, you're barely getting past the first down, basically. So the drive chart as well is as inconsistent as it gets. Michigan State, we got 5 3-and-outs here, in a 12 or 13 possession game. 13 total drives, 5 3-and-outs. 2 interceptions, and 1 turnover on downs. 5 total punts, 1 got blocked. So it was about as inconsistent, and then 4 touchdown drives, which, great, I guess. But looking at it here, I don't think Michigan State got a first down outside of their touchdown drives. We have 2 3-and-outs to start the game. The touchdown drive, the really long one, obviously you're getting a first down there. 3-and-out. 2 interceptions on the third play where they gained 1 and 3 yards, so no first down there. And then kneel out at halftime, touchdown, back-to-back 3-and-outs in the fourth quarter. That can't happen when you're playing a road game in the Big Ten. Turnover on downs in 4 plays, so bare minimum. And then you had the touchdown drive with Milivojevic in for Childs in relief. So, field position game was also really lopsided. MSU started on its own 31 on average. Nebraska, 16 yards ahead of that on their own 47. They were averaging nearly starting at midfield. So, again, that's another thing that challenge Michigan State's defense. You're going to give up points when the other team's starting at midfield a very good chunk of the time. So, that's another thing Michigan State needs to figure out. Normally, that's not an issue when you have a guy like Ryan Eckley. But when the offense, this is another thing that the offense needs to figure out too, is when you're not, at the very least, moving it 20 yards, that affects the field position game, and that makes it tougher on the defense. And again, it's just complementary football. Again, offensive line not good enough. They do miss Stanton Ramil. You were wondering what they were going to look like without him. First full game without their starting left tackle. They basically played the entire game against USC without him, and Rustin Young, left tackle, looked fine. They decided to move more to left. For this game, they decided to move more from right tackle to left tackle, and then subbed in Ashton Lepo at the right side. It wasn't as good. So we'll have to see what they do this week. Maybe they change that up and go to Rustin Young out there. He's a younger guy, so I could maybe see why they thought they would want more and more experience. And then Ashton Lepo as well on the right side. He was their starter last year, but it was a struggle. It was a struggle. I mean, there's that one burning image of my mind of Childs. It was the play where Childs got hurt in the second quarter. He's getting taken down, and Lepo's just doing this, because. Yeah, you're seeing your quarterback getting taken down. You're at the line of scrimmage watching it happen in horror, which, again, lots of things to work on. You have a very, very winnable game, though, coming up against UCLA, a game they got to win. They got to win that game. UCLA, it's a lot more interesting now that they've won a game. They beat Penn State, of all teams. I don't know how. I'll have to watch that one. I didn't bother. It was on at the same time as Michigan State, so obviously I haven't seen it yet. So I'll have to go through that one, see what the heck happened, if that was more of a UCLA decided to become good type of thing, or if Penn State decided to play bad, which is probably more of a mixture of both. But once again, we'll continue to provide coverage a bit more on Nebraska, but also kind of moving forward towards the UCLA Bruins, one of the teams that Jonathan Smith has some connections to. He's faced them before while he was at Oregon State. He was born in Pasadena, site of the Rose Bowl, where that upset just happened against Penn State. But once again, I'm Jacob Katsanika. Keep tuning in here and keep visiting SpartanNation.com and Michigan State Spartans on SI. I'll see you guys around.